How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs beat writer on SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Once again, thank you guys so much for stopping in, popping in for the time that I have today. I appreciate it. I always do. Today, we're going to be talking about the three scenarios that could come of the left tackle position. It's been a hot topic, not the store, in football, surrounding the Chiefs all offseason and really during the Super Bowl run. The offensive line has the trouble. We know this. They went out and addressed it in both free agency and the NFL draft. Now we're just kind of at a part or a point in the offseason where it begins to wonder what's going to happen. Who's going to get more of the starts? Who's going to get more playing time? Who's not going to? And really, this is a odd situation. So it comes down to three scenarios. And as you know, so let's just dive into it. So Kansas City Chiefs, they signed Jalen Moore to a 2-year deal this offseason. He's making a considerable amount of money for the next 2 seasons, and he was brought in to kind of give extra depth to the left tackle room. Now, he doesn't have a lot of experience as a starter, but when he has popped into the role, he has been able to flourish in the time that he was with the San Francisco 49ers. Now, as a part of the Kansas City Chiefs, looking to kind of establish himself as a starting piece in this organization, there's a roadblock in the way in the form of the 2025 first-round draft pick for the Chiefs, Josh Simmons. Josh Simmons, as you know, we've touched on this several times throughout the podcast. If Simmons wasn't hurt, as we know he had the problem with his left knee, he got sidelined for the last 10 games with Ohio State. But when he was on the field, he was great. Those 6 games that he did play was enough to have potentially put him as a top 10 drafted player. That being said, he fell all the way to 32 after the Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles swapped spots. He's now a Kansas City Chief. We already knew all this. The kicker, though, is if Josh Simmons is ready or not. As we know, he's been doing his rehab, his physical therapy, strength training all offseason long, trying to get this left knee back in order. He wants to play football. We can see this, and he knows that his role will immediately be impactful given the weakness on that side of the offensive line. But Jalen Moore is a more established player, and if it wasn't for the injury and the Chiefs still landed Josh Simmons, it makes sense as to where you put Josh Simmons as plan A and then Jalen Moore as plan B. What the confusing part is, where we're all still trying to wrap our heads around it, is if you brought in Jalen Moore to be a backup player, he's making a considerable amount to be the backup to a guy who's just fresh out of college. Here are the 3 scenarios. Moore is plan A, Simmons is plan B. That's scenario 1. Scenario 2, Simmons is plan A, Moore's plan B. And scenario 3, they both play. So let's break down scenario 1. So the first scenario comes in the form that Jalen Moore will be the plan A going for the season, but it really does depend on Simmons's left knee. If the progress through off-season rehab and physical therapy is beneficial enough to where the Chiefs medical staff and the coaching staff says, hey, you know what? I think that Josh Simmons is good to go. Then I think that he would be able to take that spot. But if they're not in that situation, say he's not ready for week 1, week 2, week 3, Jalen Moore, you get the job. You are the guy who is going to be out there at the left tackle. But even then, his job isn't secure. It raises the question of how well that he needs to play, Jalen Moore, that is, in order to keep the job if the scenario were to happen. If Simmons is the backup plan for the first few weeks in week 1, and Jalen Moore is the first guy that they want to send out there as a part of the starting offensive line, how long can he hold that down? Now, it obviously does depend on the knee, how it comes along. Uh, there was Adam Teicher he said that it's so much so that it's more dependent on how Josh Simmons does and how quickly he can come along than anything that Jalen Moore does or doesn't do. So obviously, Jalen Moore is the free agent pickup, but we've seen the love that the Chiefs have given to their draftees throughout the whole season, the past few seasons. If we're transitioning into option 2 now, if Josh Simmons is ready to go, I think that there's a world where Jalen Moore will kind of be more, I can see him being a little upset, but not upset. He signed a big of his first major contract just to do exactly what he was doing elsewhere. I think that they're both tremendous players. They're going to be able to provide a lot more insurance on the left tackle than the Chiefs have had. But if Josh Simmons is able to go, I think that he should be the guy that you send out there. That's option 2. Option 3 is that they both play. I don't see a world where I think option 3 will be more prevalent in the latter half of the season. But to begin the season, here's my take. To begin the season, if Simmons isn't ready, Jalen Moore should be given that spot. Whether or not he is productive at that spot will remain to be seen, but it will be a competition. At least it should be in their minds during OTAs and training camp that they're fighting for a job, much like the offensive guard position. There's healthy competition within this organization to further push these guys better to where they have to be on this line to protect Patrick Mahomes and not to be the weak point, so to say, of the offense. I think if that's the case, if scenario 1 is more prevalent in the beginning, I can see a world where option 2 starts to revolve in. Say Jalen Moore doesn't play as well. He starts to lose his mojo. He starts off real hot to begin the year, but Josh Simmons starts to get healthy. You want him to kind of get his first NFL reps. He's going to be a big piece to this offensive line. That's the plan for him. He's a first round draft pick, not a free agent signing. They want him to get into the scheme quicker than anyone else. Then I see that happening more often to where Josh Simmons gets a start, say 6, 7, 8, and so on in the weeks. We don't have the answers right now because we are still far enough away to where they don't have to, kind of like throw darts at a dartboard and hope that something sticks. They're able to monitor this and they monitor the progression for Simmons's knee as well as the production of Jalen Moore in the Kansas City Chiefs organization. That being said, that will wrap it up. As always, you can follow us on the ticker down below. You can follow me at Dom Minchella on X. You can follow KC Chiefs on SI on X. We're closing in on 300 followers. Can't wait to get to that milestone. Just to recap, scenario one, Jalen Moore starts. Chiefs plan A. Josh Simmons is plan B if his knee doesn't come around. Scenario two, Simmons starts. Jalen Moore is plan B, regardless of the regardless of the offseason payday. And scenario three, which will happen later in the season if scenario one does happen, they will both play. I think that it will be a healthy battle that's going to be a fun watch throughout OTAs and all of that. As always, guys, thank you so much. I will see you guys tomorrow. Remember, be kind to one another. Bye now.